In part 3 on page 90, you can see some questions, and it says look at the photos 1 to 6, and that means 1 to 6 on page 91. What can you see? Read the article and check. What did the people use each thing for? So let's take a look. I'm going to read the introduction and then we can look at the pictures. Life before the internet. This morning in the office, somebody mentioned teletext. What's that? Our intern, Francesca, asked. She genuinely had no idea. For all of you who are too young to remember, teletext was sort of like a very, very basic internet on your TV. After that conversation, we started to remember life before the internet. Can you remember any of these? Okay, and this is the part where we're going to look at the pictures. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And here are the names: fax machines, the yellow pages, that's 4. Encyclopedias, and then we've got 5 Walkmans and an A to Z, and that's 6. And I think they put the pictures pretty much in the order that we wanted them. So if you didn't know, number 1 is encyclopedias, 2 teletext, 3 a fax machine, 4 the yellow pages, 5 is a Walkman, and 6 is the London A to Z. What are they? I'll tell you in just a moment. So, what did we use fax machines for? We used them, well, it wasn't like sending a letter, and it wasn't like sending an email. It was somewhere in the middle. It was a piece of paper, but it went through the telephone lines, so it was much quicker. Yellow Pages is where you looked up the telephone numbers for businesses and services, like, for example, restaurants. Encyclopedias was a series of books. If you wanted to find out some details, you looked it up in an enormous encyclopedia, sometimes 10 or 12 books of information. Yeah, that's where the name Wikipedia comes from. A Walkman, I can't believe that anybody doesn't know this. There's a cassette in there, and it was heavier than an MP3 player. If you didn't have the cassette or CD of a song, you couldn't listen to it. Yeah, not like streaming. Okay, you have to go and buy music. And an A to Z, if you wanted to find your way around town, you needed a map, not an app. Part 4. Grammar. Look at the 3 sentences. Do you agree? Say why or why not. Men use the internet more than women. I don't really agree. I don't think so. Why? Because I think everybody uses it every day for things now. The best place for children to learn how to use new technology is at school. Well, if they're in school, maybe. It's bad manners to use your phone when you're having lunch or dinner. I think that's definitely true. Does anybody disagree? Now, when you look at those sentences, sometimes we use the and sometimes we don't use the. Okay, let's look at some ideas we have. Before superlatives, the ones with ST, the biggest, the longest, the most expensive, we always use the with those ones, don't we? Yeah. This is the most expensive car in the world. Okay, it's the oldest building in town. Yeah, always use the. When we talk about people or things in general, well, people, things, we're not saying the, and we don't use the. Okay, look at this. There we go. Don't use the. English people are very polite. English people say sorry a lot. Okay, not one group, but generally most people. Okay. What about things like lunch, work, and university? We don't use that, do we? No, that's it. So I'm having lunch, breakfast. I go to work, I go to university, I go to school, I go to bed. Okay, things like that. When only one of something exists, the sun, the world, yeah, Okay, there's only one exists, the town centre. Okay, let's look at the grammar at the back on page 44. And at the bottom of page 144, 11C, the definite article. Can you close the window, please? We say, can you close the window when it's clear what we're talking about, okay? We know that it's that window, we can see it, or there is only one window. If there are many windows, we could say, can you open a window? Because it doesn't matter which one. But we say, close the window, close the... If somebody says to me, open the door, then I've only got one front door, and it's clear which one, okay? Can you check their address on the internet? Yeah, the internet, only one internet exists. By the way, also notice that just like we say a and an, and you know we say an apple, an elephant, an Indian cricketer, an orange car, and an unusual teacher. We use an in front of vowel sounds. The sound of the changes. And when we've got a vowel sound afterwards, just like with an, we say the. Notice, can you check their address on the internet? Yeah, the internet. There's even a little y comes in there. Okay. So when there's only one of something, for example, the internet, the sun. Okay. And as I said, the center of town, the town center, is exactly the same thing. Okay. If you use the word downtown, which is American English, then we don't say the downtown, we say downtown. No idea why. Ask an American. It's the best restaurant I know. Yeah, we use the before superlative adjectives. The last piece of grammar we did, the biggest, the best, the oldest, the most expensive. Okay, we don't always use it in front of most, but we always use it in front of the most plus adjective. The most difficult piece of grammar. Okay, but at the beginning of the sentence we can say most people learn a foreign language in school. Okay, let's look at part 2.